Welcome back to Goldner Woodland Farm. I'm Keith. We've got a bunch of projects started to do this spring. One of the things we're going to do today is start on getting logs ready for more mushroom, to inoculate with more mushroom spawn. So a couple things we're doing. We're going to plant shiitake mushrooms, which like oak trees, and we're also getting ready for the house to be built here. So this little section of trees is way too thick with with trees, and they're almost all oak trees. There's a few cherry trees mixed in there, but we're going to thin a few of these out and use them for mushroom logs. But it's also at the same time it'll help thin this out, and this one in particular. So we're going to take down this red oak here that's kind of up on this knob. Because I think that as that tree gets bigger, I just soon not have that kind of looking over at the barn. So we're going to take that one down, and then as we come up into here, here's a perfect situation where we've got three white oaks real close together. We'll end up probably taking all but one of those out, but right now we're going to take this one's got a little bit of a lean to it. That's perfect size for mushroom logs. We're going to take that one down, and then as we go up through here, there's at least another pair up there. We're going to take one of those two down. Again, that will help thin this out, and we can use that for the mushroom logs. So for the mushroom logs, what you want is a fresh log, a freshly cut log that's dormant. So we want to cut these before they leaf out, and then after we cut them, we have to let them sit for about 2 to 3 weeks before we can inoculate them. So now is a perfect time. It's a beautiful day. We don't want to wait too much longer because it's the end of March, and these will be leafing out fairly soon. So that's our plan today. Cut a couple of these down and get them ready, and then we're going to use we also have some oyster mushroom spawn in plugs, and they grow in a softer wood. So we're gonna cut down an aspen tree for that, and I'll show you that when we get to that point. Okay, we got 3 oak trees cut down and cut up for shiitake logs, and now we're going to cut this. I don't know if it's a big tooth aspen or poplar or something like that. We're going to cut that down, and that's what we're going to use to plant the oyster mushrooms. So again, oysters grow in softer woods, and the shiitakes grow in hardwoods like oak and maple. Oysters in things like willow, aspen, poplar, those sorts of things. So this one's kind of leaning. It's sort of out of the way. If it falls, not really going to create a problem, but that's the one we're going to use. Welcome back to Goldner Woodland Farm. I'm Keith. It is Saturday, May 6th, and we are taking the next step with our mushroom logs. So we cut these logs probably a month or so ago. We cut oak logs for shiitake, and we cut poplar logs for oyster mushrooms. So the next process is drilling. You drill holes, and then we use plugs, wood plugs, to inoculate the logs. So we just finished with the oyster logs, and we're going to get started on the shiitake logs. So I was able to buy an adapter for my angle grinder with this bit. The bit is the right size for the plugs and the right depth. And because the angle grinder is much faster than a drill, this works way better than trying to drill these logs with a regular drill. We have 1,000 shiitake plugs, and we had 1,000 oyster plugs. So I'll show you how that works. So that's a white oak log that was fresh, and if you were to drill on that with a regular drill bit, it would take much longer. So what we have here is maybe every 3 or 4 inches, something like that. And then we'll make, we'll make rows all the way around the log, and then you put the plug in and put wax over it, and then it sits in the woods for a year or so, and then maybe, if you're lucky, you get shiitakes. Here are the mushroom plugs. I get them from a place called Field and Forest. That's also where I got the tool for the angle grinder. So these are shiitake mushroom plugs. They're on these little dowels. And so you just take that and you put it, fits right in that hole that you drilled. And you just take a little mallet, pound it in, and then we need to cover that with some wax. And then you throw it out in the woods for a year. That's kind of all there is to it. So we've got these logs all drilled. These are the oyster logs with plugs. We did one of the shiitake logs. So we're working on this next one. My lovely assistant Patty here, she's pounding the plugs in. These holes are a little bit close together, but that just means it will colonize. They should colonize the log a little bit more quickly. This is the process for waxing the mushroom log plugs. It's a little tedious, but final step before they go sleep in the woods for a year or so. We got our batch of oyster mushroom logs, got them all drilled, plugged, wax covering up all the plugs. So now we're gonna take them and carry them down in the woods here to our mushroom yard, I guess. So this is where we have our mushroom logs. Logs that are here so far, these are all shiitake logs. So I've done shiitake logs 3 times. And we just started getting some to flush. We picked one yesterday. And then these are the shiitake logs that we did a week or so ago. So those will get us going for the next couple years. I did these 2 years ago, I think. So we'll bring those oysters down and move on to the next project.